Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
All right. So I like, and this is something I'm going to give the Browns some credit here for, because they have done things like this in the past where it's created more of a media storm than necessary, and it feels like they're learning on some level from these things. But I really do appreciate that they came out early on Monday and made the announcement that Shedeur is going to be the starter officially. Like, I've seen the Browns post about this. I've seen Ian Rappaport. They were also clear on this. I think Kevin Stefanski said it himself in the press conference. I also appreciate that they were transparent with the fact that Dillon is back from concussion protocol, but they're going to go with Shador. Now, after the game on Sunday, I don't think this was a surprise to anybody who had been paying attention. I know some people felt like maybe Kevin was going to be, he's so in love with Dillon Gabriel that he's going to force Dillon Gabriel out there. At this point, even if you like Dillon Gabriel, it wouldn't be beneficial for Dillon Gabriel to go out there at a home game where nobody wants to see him. I'm pretty sure that the team is well aware of that. Also, you just scored the most points you have on offense all season with Shedeur. You had some of the most explosive plays of the season with Shedeur. Those are two things that you've been looking for desperately on offense, right? Points and explosion. And I know people are going to bring up his EPA per play wasn't good. His advanced numbers wasn't good. His success rate was very low. It was actually the lowest of all 32 quarterbacks that played on Sunday. But what you've been wanting is points and explosion, and you got points and explosion. You can work on some of the other stuff in between there. And then the other stuff does need to be worked out. By the way, the Shedeur film breakdown is going to come out tomorrow morning instead of today, because this video is replacing the film breakdown. I didn't expect them to announce a starter until Wednesday. So I'm really happy that the Browns announced this on Monday, because like with Shedeur, if you let things sit, people's imagination starts to run wild, especially in this moment where people are still on high alert because of the draft slide and how they feel like he's been treated throughout the season. Just naming him the starter on Monday, making it clear that Dillon Gabriel is back from the concussion protocol. He's cleared from protocol, but you're still going to play Shedeur. They've obviously made a choice there. And if Shedeur continues to play well, he'll be the starter for the rest of the season, which is clear at this point, right? It looks like Dillon's probably going to be the backup this week, and Shedeur is going to be the starter. So that's where we're at with the quarterback position. There's been a lot of other things going on that have been related to Shedeur that I would love to have a conversation about. But before I do that, got to thank my sponsor, Sleeper. Real quick, just want to let you guys know Sleeper has a new offer here. They're offering a free $20 entry, no deposit required. And also, if you're a first-time user, you also will receive a 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code WORSTTAKE. Again, $20 free, no deposit required. Plus, first-time users also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Join Sleeper. I thought this was going to be the case on Sunday, right? Like I've already went through all of that, right? Like I'm excited that Shador's getting a look. I think this week will be interesting going up against San Francisco, which is a different challenge than playing the Raiders, but it is a home game. I think that game's going to also be winnable for the Cleveland Browns, right? The San Francisco 49ers have had a history of not being able, at least Kyle Shanahan specifically, have had a history of not being able to really figure out Jim Schwartz defenses for whatever reason. Jim Schwartz has a good history against them, so you know that defense is going to show up a home game and that going in their favor. The defense is going to keep this game close. The question is, can the Browns keep pace offensively? And that's where stuff like, hey, like last week against the Raiders, the Browns defense was so dominant and the Raiders defense was so incompetent that it really didn't matter that the Browns had a super low success rate. It didn't matter that the Browns went 3-and-out a lot in that game, because they gave Shedeur a lot of opportunities to find some extracurricular lanes to get big plays off of, right? The 49ers will be a lot better of a football team. They will be a lot more disciplined. So in order to win that game, Shedeur is going to have to be able to operate the offense a little bit more efficiently than he did in the last game. So it's going to be a nice little test to see where Shedor's at. It's like, okay, we saw what you could do off structure. We saw the plus throws you bring to the table, but the meat and potatoes of this offense, can you operate it, right? Can you operate it to the point to where we can get to the fun stuff, right? Because the off schedule throws, the rollouts and stuff like that, that's the topping, right? That's the gravy to the dish, but it can't be everything, right? You got to have meat, potatoes, you got to have all that other stuff before you can get to the gravy. Now, against a team like the Raiders, you might be able to live off gravy. Next week, in the weeks coming after it, I mean, maybe Tennessee, you could live off gravy as well, right? But it's going to get harder and harder to live off gravy the more and more you're playing. So, that's going to be something for Shedeur, right? Build that meat and potato bag, and make sure you're also strengthening your fundamentals. And I thought that's where Shedeur showed some progress in the game versus the Raiders, right? The fact that he didn't flood the pocket, the fact that he wasn't overwhelmed immediately with pressure, that he had answers and that he was confident in his answers. There were a couple of times where I felt like he relied too much on rolling right and throwing the ball deep. And that's something that teams will eventually catch up to. I remember Baker Mayfield was really good at that his rookie year, right? Rolling right, throwing the ball deep, but then that became a meme in a negative direction in his second year, right? Like, so that's something that I've seen teams catch up to, where you can roll out, make some plays here or there. So, really want to see Shedeur be able to have some other things he can lean on, but we haven't really seen much of him. So, we'll continue to see that as it goes forward. Now, let's talk about some of the kind of aftermath from this whole thing. There's been like 2 controversies that I want to talk about. The first controversy is this whole thing about a game ball. Now, again, I need people to be normal when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, whether you're a fan of Shedeur Sanders or not a fan of Shedeur Sanders. We need to realize that we're not being normal here. And being upset about who did not get a game ball on camera is just not normal, right? I saw Kendrick Perkins tweet vile shit about Kevin Stefanski for no reason. Okay, Ocho made this a whole segment on their show. It's a fucking game ball. And these are professional athletes. First and foremost, the most important thing here, Shedeur got the starting job. They gave him the job on Monday. They probably told him on Sunday that they were going to give him the starting job. I'm sure that is better than getting a game ball. I'm confident that Shedeur appreciates that more than a little goofy game ball. Number 2, the game balls that they give out in the little videos aren't the only game balls that they give away. So yeah, they gave the main game ball to Myles Garrett, but they probably gave out like 10, 15 other game balls, and I'm sure Shedeur got one. So all of this controversy is for nothing. I would like to interject my own personal feelings here. This is the most everybody get a trophy as controversy of all time. Like, whether you're a fan of Shedeur or not, you have to admit that this is ridiculous. Like, that's stupid, right? This is taking away from what was a solid debut of Shedeur for no reason at all. And it's not like it's taking much away. It's just a goofy little side thing that people decided to be mad at. I've talked about it. I did a video this morning about how I feel like the coaching staff and their contributions to Shedeur have been kind of ignored in place of a narrative that they're working against them, and how annoying that has to be for them. The Browns want Shedeur to succeed. They're not working against Shedeur. Like, they are clearly putting in extra work from their coaching staff, from their assistants, from the head coach himself. Everybody's putting in extra work to try to get every rookie on that roster where they want to be. The Browns are thoroughly dedicated to this. There's been reports about the actual work that they've done. They're putting in more work than I've ever seen the Browns put in on rookies before with this staff, with these rookies, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not really buying this whole narrative that like Kevin is working against Shedeur in any way. Like, I think Kevin wants Shedeur to be successful. Now, did Kevin prefer Dillon Gabriel? I think that's probably true. I think Kevin in the pre-draft process preferred Dillon Gabriel to Shedeur. But once both those players were on his team, was Kevin going to be a professional and work hard to develop both those guys? Yes, because Kevin's a professional. Whether you think he is a great coach or not, the one thing you can never accuse Kevin Stefanski of is being unprofessional. He's been professional to a fault his entire career. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's annoying how professional he is because he answers every press conference question exactly how you would want a professional to answer it, but sometimes you want a little bit of emotion in there. So this idea that Kevin is all of a sudden just going to throw away all of his integrity as a coach to spite Shedeur Sanders when Shedeur Sanders is on his team, I think is ridiculous. This is not Rex Ryan that we're talking about, right? Rex Ryan is a complete clown. As a coach, he was a clown. As a guy on Hard Knocks, he was a clown. And as a guy on ESPN right now, Rex Ryan is a complete clown. I don't even cover Rex Ryan's comments about Shedeur anymore because he's a fucking clown. Like, why give the clown more air, right? So, he's not Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan says clown shit, does clown shit. And if Rex Ryan was the coach of the Browns, he probably would be doing the clown shit that people are accusing Kevin Stefanski of. But Kevin's a professional. He's not a clown like Rex Ryan. And that's regardless of if you want to keep him after this year or not. It's just objectively true. He's a professional. His peers respect him. Rex Ryan's a clown. That's why he's not in the league anymore. There's this whole controversy about the game ball. It's much to do about nothing, right? I think people are trying to use it as evidence that the Browns don't want to highlight Shedeur, but they've highlighted him a ton in their social media. Kevin has gone out of his way to praise him in his press conferences. He's the starting quarterback of the team now, even though Dillon's back from concussion protocol. Can we please stop acting like the coaching staff is trying to stop him? Can we please stop doing this? I'm begging you. Because I'm tired of covering it. It gets more ridiculous every week. There's more evidence that the coaching staff is working really hard to prop Shedeur up and to help him be better than anything. And we keep talking about the same bullshit. It's so stupid. Speaking of bullshit, there was some controversy about Shedeur's level of confidence. Now, I thought this was stupid. I appreciate the fact that Shedeur Sanders is an extremely confident person. I think what he demonstrated, right, when he got onto that interview on CBS and they asked him what he hopes to show, he said, I hope to show them that I'm what they're looking for. I think that kind of confidence is really good for a quarterback to have. I always go back to DTR, right? If you want to look at a quarterback who just did not have it in the confidence department to be an NFL quarterback the way that he could be talent-wise, DTR had that issue because DTR, the second something goes bad, head down, not believing in himself. What I appreciate about Shedeur is that Shedeur this season has gone through a lot of things that Shedeur has not had to go through. And just so you know, I followed this Shedeur story going all the way back to his first year at Jackson State. I actually went to watch him play in the Celebration Bowl against South Carolina State his first year at Jackson State. And Shedeur, he's always been in a situation where, Prime's the coach. Prime's going to put him in the best position to succeed. And he never had to really deal with a stranger being his head coach. He never had to deal with being as low down on the depth chart as he was at the start of the Browns season. And he had to deal with the draft slide and everything else that came with that. So he's been through a lot. His father's health hasn't been great. He's had to deal with that mentally. And I'm sure it took its toll on him, right? You heard reports during the middle of the season that maybe Shedeur wasn't as engaged as they wanted him to be at certain points. And that kind of lines up with when his father was going through a lot health-wise. And also, he's dealing with the fact that he's an emergency quarterback. He's barely even active. He's not playing. All this stuff is difficult to deal with. and it takes a toll. And it seems like he has gotten out of that moment and recovered really nicely. And now every time you ask somebody about him behind the scenes, they say nothing but great things about Shedeur and his work ethic and the work that he's been putting in. So it seems like he's really turned the corner over the last few weeks, and that he has kind of overcome some of those early kind of moments of, hey, like, do I belong? Should I be here? And him being confident in himself like he was in that pregame interview, I think is a demonstration of his mental toughness more than anything. You know, there's a lot of guys who could go through what Shador's going through and have a crisis of confidence and never find their way back. I think it's a good trait that Shedeur is still confident, that Shedeur, even though the team's not in a great place record-wise, still at the place where mentally he feels like he can fight back. We'll see what he continues to do the rest of the year, right? Obviously, confidence doesn't make you a franchise quarterback alone, but I'm not going to be critical of that, you know, and I'm pretty sure Rex Ryan's clown ass or somebody else is going to pop up and say something about it, right? There's a lot of clowns just revolving the Shedeur situation. But, you know, I don't have a problem with this confidence. And as far as the game ball stuff goes, we talking about grown men, grown professionals, and we complaining about them not getting a game ball like we had a fucking AAU tournament. Please, let's be for real. Can we just be for real? like what we mad at? What are the controversies about this week? Shedeur Sanders goes out there, wins his first start. He's the first rookie quarterback to win his first start since 1995. It's been 30 years. He does that. He gets a lot of love, respect for it. Browns fans are pretty excited. And we come back on Monday, and the talking points are he was too confident and he didn't get a game ball. Stupid. It's stupid, man. Just talk about the football. The football, there's actually football to talk about. We don't got to do the sideshow clown buffoonery shit anymore. But yeah, that's my whole take on it. Shedeur is the starter. I'm happy for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him play against San Francisco and hopefully seeing him for the rest of the season. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.